Hey there, welcome back to the Smell of Logic channel. I am Ramona, and today's Reddit story is pretty serious and might be a little upsetting to some people, but we're going to do it because I think it's important to hear other people's perspectives and their stories. Might help you through yours or might give you perspective or something like that. So here we go. Ready? What was the lowest point in your life? I've been thinking about how life has its ups and downs, and sometimes the lowest point shapes us the most. Whether it's a personal struggle, loss, mental health battle, or feeling completely lost, those moments can be incredibly powerful and transformative. If you feel comfortable sharing, what was the lowest point in your life? And looking back now, how did you cope or find your way out? First story is the last 3 and a bit years. I've lost everything. And the replies are, I hope things change for the better soon. Hold on and stay strong. Wishing you the best. Hope you're doing fine now. You can do this, my friend. And someone else says the same. I am an alcoholic. Would be completely responsible all day, and then everything was done, taken care of. I would end the day getting drunk alone in my home. Hidden pints of vodka, tripe, drunk. I justify it because I was only hurting me, and I wasn't going around driving drunk, so who cares? Like all addictions, it consumed me, though, and I was a fractured shell of myself. Finally came clean to my primary doctor. It was a stop, rehab, or let it kill me. Can't afford rehab, and finally admitted I didn't want to kill me, so I had to stop. That was the answer. That doc and nurse saved my life. I'm going on 3 years sober, and still it gets me every single day. I always think it will peak somewhere, but it hasn't yet. Mental and physical health is so much better now, and I absolutely love my life and myself. My relationships are better. Literally, everything is better. And there's a reply that this is so inspiring. Thank you. I'm in early sobriety right now, and I worry I'll plateau very soon, and it makes me want to give up. Hearing this perspective gave me the strength to do one more day. Congratulations. Right now, stuck in a job where I can't leave, surrounded by people who get me with a target on my back, struggle with mental health, crippling anxiety, rejected by a coworker due to mixed signals. Life turns fast. Ended 2024 on a high in the highest version of myself. Lost 60 pounds. High self-love. Looked and felt great with clothes fitting perfectly. Great mental health and self-esteem. That was 12 weeks ago. It is a very different life. Currently in absolutely hell with crippling anxiety and utter despair with no hope. Feels like a spell or hex on me. I take it one day at a time, often 1 minute at a time, just to get by. And there's a reply with, the older I get, the more I go through these periods, and I'm always surprised that I got myself out of them. I think this is true for everyone. I think that because you are truly annoyed by your position, so you have to go somewhere. Maybe up, maybe down, but it will break soon. When it breaks, you will have to go up. When that happens, grip on to that upward trajectory for as long as you can and use it to get as far ahead as you can. My life is rinse repeat of this, currently setting myself in and out of the hole on equal measure. It was my lowest point when I found happiness to be an inside job. It is not what you have but who you come to be. Not about what you do, but who you are. I lost everything. Money, career, health, relationship, family, and friends. And I found myself. Almost 10 years ago, I lost everything in my failed business that I entrusted to my then boyfriend, since I was starting to fall ill and could not manage it. My illness worsened over time and became debilitating. It was not a life I ever imagined, as just a couple of years before that, I was riding high on success, health, and wealth. Since I had been through this worst trauma as a child, I have always believed I can recover from anything. I did not realize that things will keep getting worse. The illness was mysterious, so getting a proper diagnosis cost me so much more than a lot of money that I did not have. I've been in constant pain and anguish. I struggled financially. It took me years to understand that my then boyfriend had a personality disorder, and I had to pay a steep price for that. I knew I did everything I can to love him. Yes, this was real for me, and to save the relationship. It is hard to pinpoint the lowest point, but I must say it was probably in 2023 when I totally lost the ability to work due to illness and sustain my family. I was bedridden with tremendous pain and had a partner who was constantly venting his anger and frustrations at me through passive-aggressive instead of supporting me emotionally and helping navigate my illness. He was struggling career-wise, too. It was at this point that I realized that indeed all I had was myself and my faith. I could not move, but I could think and feel. I did inner work, trauma healing, and working towards self-care and self-love. I've skipped a lot of steps here, but that was an arduous process. It was a personal miracle that I did not give up. It is strange to say that I discovered happiness at the lowest point in my life. Indeed, happiness is a choice and an inside job. I was at peace. 10 years from falling ill and losing it all, I am still working on recovering health and rebuilding wealth. There have been improvements, but utterly slow and a test of patience and faith. I am happy and at peace, yet I wish to be more comfortable and secure. I just want to be a better person and to live life to the fullest. More importantly, I want to give my sons the best life they could ever have, and they need a healthy, happy mom. And yes, I dumped that boyfriend a couple of years ago, and am in a safe, happy relationship now. I've had 3 rock bottoms. The last one I overdosed, and then my then girlfriend saved my life. Since then, my life has skyrocketed with positivity and a foundation of sobriety and self-love. And my girlfriend is my wife now, and we are thriving because sobriety and self-love. I would like to share. Just before I was getting ready to get married, I began drinking heavily. Not sure as to the reason, but possibly knowing that I was making a mistake. I loved her at the time, but something was off. 6 years and 2 beautiful kids later, we got divorced. My son was 4 and my daughter was 2. That's when my world shattered. Not because I missed her, but because I was now split from the kids. I then went on to continue drinking, which eventually fed the alcoholism and drug addiction. I almost lost everything and was ready to call it quits. I knew at that point that it was either more drugs or alcohol, or I was going to die, either that from an OD or suicide. I gathered up the courage to ask my father to take me into rehab. My kids, then being 7 and 9. I've not looked back since, and being sober going on almost 5 years now, and living a far better, not perfect life, but sober, and that means the world to me. So, in answering this question, it was in 2019 that I was at the lowest point of my life. I haven't relapsed or had the urge to even try drinking again because that would lead to the other. I have a beautiful relationship with my kids and a new fiancé. Life is never sunshine and roses, but it's sure worth it if you just put everything you have into it, into being the best version of yourself. I'm OCD, so I struggle daily with negative thoughts, etc., but one day at a time. All the best to anyone dealing with what I had to deal with, or even worse. You are in my prayers and wishes for any struggles that you may be going through. Really awful breakup, approximately 2 years. I was caught cheating. Her and I both drank and used cocaine incredibly often, like to the dangerous and addicted manner, 2 to 3 day benders every single weekend without fault. It led to her imploding, wailing, and bawling. I tried to console her, and she wound up striking me in the face, biting me, and even threatening to hurt herself out of spite. She promised to humiliate me, and she did. She posted my pathetic messages online, and many of our connected social group cut ties with me. I was called pig, vile, POS, etc. I was even threatened by 2 people that they would fight me if they ever saw me. I'm 32 male. I'm too old to be behaving like this. This event eventually gutted me. Overnight, I lost my girlfriend, my friend group, my reputation, and self-respect. I hated myself. It's been approximately 70 days. I enrolled in constant therapy. I haven't missed a gym day in the entire time. I started a new fitness hobbies and outdoorsy activities. I started going to events like concerts or museums, completely on my own to distract myself, as I have been completely clean from cocaine the entire time, even though I've had a handful of drinks at times, not to the binging extent like before. I am still in pain. I still have moments of sadness, loneliness, and resentment. But I look at how much I've accomplished in just 2 months compared to the last 2 years. I see how healthy and rested I look. I used to look like a tweaker zombie. I don't have the stress and pain of a relationship that was not serving either of us and was hurting us. The future still seems so scary and lonely, but at least I have faith in my personal habits, and that I am genuinely happier mentally and physically following this drastic change. I don't want to get into too much detail, but basically, at a point after my child was born, or my, at the time, wife caused the situation to basically have everyone mad at us, and then she got mad at me and blamed me. There's a lot more to it, and I'm underplaying parts of it, but the end result was I spent a day feeling like everybody completely hated me, because that is what it felt like. Yes, I took drugs and collapsed when I was 20. I almost died that night. I do not do drugs anymore. I was abused. I'm working on protecting my peace. I had savings and I lost them. I'm working on getting financially on track again. I had love, true love. I got 100% in. I lost it a month ago. I'm working on healing my heart. When I was 17, I got accepted into a prestigious university for a business program. My high school gave me a scholarship that amounted to $17,500, which covered basically 2 terms of university. My dad and his abusive, paranoid schizophrenic, who, when I presented him with the scholarship news, only said, "How come you didn't get a full scholarship?" During the summer, he decided to leave the country to go to work for as a limo driver abroad. He told me that he would be doing it for us, but I had this feeling that he just got tired of the lack of prospects here and wanted to live in a more exciting place with a better climate. We immigrated to a country only 4 years prior to that, so I had 0 friends. My mom and the rest of the family were overseas. My dad was my only friend. It felt like he just discarded me, and I was forced to fend for myself. My mental health took a nosedive, and I basically barricaded myself in our apartment, ate only takeout, which put me into debt, flunked university, hung out with the wrong crowds simply out of desperation, lost my virginity to R, and became suicidal. My dad came back next year, but that year will always be the darkest time of my life. I was prescribed Adderall for my ADHD. For some reason, it didn't work as intended, and it just got me high. I generally didn't really know any better, and just thought it was normal to feel like that. My dumbass doctors didn't catch on that I was addicted, even though a year into it, it only lasted me 2 hours or more at the maximum dose. At the time I realized what was going on. I had a full-time job to keep and didn't stop taking it for more than a day without being dangerously suicidal. I literally didn't recognize myself in the mirror when I was high, and when I crashed I felt nothing at all. Not sad, not dissociative, just a total absence of feeling. It was hell on earth. I started leaving myself notes, begging myself to remember that I was miserable, because when I was high it felt like everything was and would always be okay. It was just a cycle of euphoric relief and crushing depression, over and over and over every single day for years. I eventually appealed to my roommates to take on my part of the rent so I could quit my job and recover. I quit Adderall cold turkey and sunk into a 2-week haze that I don't even remember while my body adjusted. When I came around and started feeling better, it was like meeting myself again for the first time. It had been such a slow burn that I didn't realize how much it had taken from me. I'm on a different medication now. I cannot describe an instance as the lowest point, but I have come to an agreement that happiness cannot be found in a person or money. We need to seek happiness within us. When I found out I was pregnant with my second baby, talk about wrong timing. I'd just broken my arm, so I was really having a hard time at work, and my job was jeopardized. We also had lost a close family member, so the whole family was in shambles. Then I found out my man had another family, and that she was also pregnant, and with a girl, too. Our due dates were only 2 months apart. About 5 months into the pregnancy, they moved in together, and he said to me, "I've changed my mind about you." I remember thinking one day, it's been so long since I was happy. I had my baby, very beautiful and loud little girl, looking exactly like her dad. Then came in the postpartum depression like a blanket that just covered me. I don't exactly remember when it all got better for me, especially towards my baby, but it did eventually. Now I am much better in terms of my relationship with my daughter. As for her dad, well, I have no idea. Maybe he got swallowed by a whale. Haven't heard from him in 2.5 years, which is how old our baby is. I think I have a lot of low points, but because of my anxiety and ADHD, everyone feels like the lowest, so I usually feel insane. But I would say that I lost my mother. I felt as if a piece of me had left the universe. I've never felt whole again, but I try to take care of myself like she would. I talk to myself like a child. "Come on, we have stuff to do. You can do that later. But you have to drink some water." It seems basic and dumb, but it helps. I'm a people person, usually, so I lean on it and never mind, but when I need help, it's never taken seriously because I've always got my shit together. So as a parent myself, I am still coping some days, but I got really good advice that coping is what makes us feel good now, and healing is what can help me be prepared for if it happens in the future. I was 30, in my room, proceeding with my gaming addiction on my bed after some restless nights and lack of food. I don't know, it might have been the term back then, but I was probably depressed. I thought, I'm in my 30s. Is this really how I'm going to spend the rest of my life? I'm so lonely. I have felt absolute loneliness. And then something lit up. I got angry, very angry. I thought, if those bullies are allowed to walk the world and enjoy it, why shouldn't I? I'm a much better person than they are, and I deserve better. I thought, I want to be happy. So I became happy, actually. Despite being the wrong reasoning, it got me started. I printed my gapped resume. I entered the community center and said, can I volunteer here? Shaking uncontrollably. I started behind the bar there, studying social people and interactions whilst testing and applying what I learned. I learned gray thinking, but also learned afterward that you still need black and white thinking for self-protection and intuition. I learned to focus on being positive for myself, and when I do have a bad day, I do not punish myself for it. Life needs ups and downs. Without the downs, how can we truly know what the ups are? I work out. I wake up at least 7 every day, including the weekends. I picked up a guitar. I'm going traveling with a friend, and for the first time in my life, it is for me. I asked for prep. I plan to take it on my dream of a threesome and such. This is my life. Life is short. I could die tomorrow. I really want to have lived a bit of life instead of always hiding behind my computer. And I'm living it. I'm making mistakes. I pick myself up and I change. Adaptation. Finding lessons in everything and never knowing everything. Life is not about completion. Life is about being on the road of it, in the moment. My lowest point in my life at 30 years old was also the first day of my life when I started living for me. It is never too late. You're 90? So what? You can still turn the tables and make something of your life in that last part of it. Do not give up on you. You deserve to be happy. You deserve everything the world has to offer you. Watching my husband slowly die from cancer, it still hurts. I feel used and cheated by an individual I left was my partner, and to make it worse, she made out and got super intimate twice in my presence with one of her female best friends. Or work friends, I'm not sure. The other thing is, she hasn't been very communicative with me, the one side of communication with her. My brain's no longer braining. My soul hurts. My brain is in pain. I'm just left speechless. When I was 17, I went through a rough breakup. I didn't want to wake up anymore for school. I didn't want to wake up in the mornings or brush my teeth or do anything. I struggled when I had to write my board exams. I didn't want to live anymore. I went to therapy, started working out and going on walks. Listening to podcasts help. Read, get out of your room, listen to music. It gets better, I promise. The year of 2022 until early 2023, I remember very specific mistakes, struggles, and pains in my life throughout that time. I was extremely insecure about myself, looking for love in all the wrong places, used and betrayed by strangers, families, and friends. I was ready to end it all. Then I finally used my last courage to stand up for myself, then drink the poison, and then everything changed. I killed my old self, and that was the best decision I ever made. I am grateful that I am still here in 2025, alive, breathing, healing, loving myself more, and more importantly, I'm free. I'm still reminiscing the past, but I don't want to define myself by those events anymore. I will be a better person. The lowest point in my life right now is almost 2 years, and I don't know what to call. I don't know when it will end or how or if it will end me. I tried so much. I tried to keep myself motivated all the time, but now I just can't. Nothing makes me feel motivated now. I really want to smile genuinely, but I don't remember the last time I did. I don't know what I'm doing. This is not me, and I hate this version of myself. But when I think I had a chance to go back and remake some decisions, will I decide something else? The irony is I will still choose the same thing because I really want to achieve my dream. Sorry, I just wanted to vent. Have a nice day. Back in April 2020, I stopped taking my bipolar medication and mood stabilizers cold turkey, which then sent me to a very intense psychosis. I blocked out for most of it, but according to the people around me that witnessed it, it was very scary and I wasn't myself at all. I shaved my head bald. Anyway, towards the peak of the psychosis, I ended up calling the cops because I was paranoid my dad was trying to hurt me. I ended up getting into a physical altercation with my father, and then things escalated. The cops didn't understand what was going on. They just responded to a domestic dispute, and when they got there and they saw a 90-pound, bald-headed, and erratic woman, I felt like they assumed drugs were involved. So they treated me like a criminal instead of a psych patient. I somehow ended up freaking out and hitting an officer. Something else happened, and next thing I know, I'm getting body slammed by a 5'11" muscular policeman. They carried me to the police car with a cop on each limb. I blacked out again, and when I came to, I was in a county jail cell holding cell and had been there for 3 days. I had no recollection. I was terrified, confused, and still feeling side effects from the psychosis. Long story short, I ended up spending 17-ish months in county jail during the peak of the pandemic. Ended up charged with a felony assault of an officer and misdemeanors for resisting arrest and domestic violence. Looking back, I coped by journaling, talking to my bunkmates, and passing time by just taking it one day at a time. Crazy thing is, I'm kind of grateful because I met my partner in jail. Been together since. I got a deferred sentence, so the charges will fall off soon. Just wish I'd been taken to a mental hospital instead. But on the bright side, my case initiated a movement where mental health professionals can assist officers in calls they suspect are mental health based, to keep people out of jail when they're actually in need of psychiatric care. So that was nice. But coping through something like that, I just made the most of where I was. Still tried to have routines and watched my shows, made friends, some good ones, and tried to find the good in every day. Even if I had COVID 3 times, I learned a lot, and as most people do, found spirituality and God. Being stuck in a mental hospital with schizoaffective disorder while going through a breakup. Right now, the last 6 months have been tough. I've been through a lot, but I feel the stuff I'm going through now really broke me. I closed down my 5-year-old business. I'm feeling extremely homesick. The girlfriend of 2 years blindsided me with a breakup a week after our anniversary, which was also a week before my birthday, and now starting a new business. Dealing with self-worth, pressure, and confidence issues. I haven't been myself. Just trying to be as strong as I can be, but it's unbearably hard, especially with how fast the days are going. I feel like I need a break, but I can't afford it, and can't waste any more time. Doing my first ever therapy session tomorrow. My girlfriend of 5 years left me last month. I'm looking for roles and jobs since I got laid off in December with no luck yet. I've officially hit rock bottom. I don't know that I've hit it yet. Somehow I've kept things afloat, but I keep thinking things will be much worse, and you get away with so much: academics, relationships, my general health, etc. I think I'm very privileged, and that's why even during the worst times, I feel like I don't have it as bad. I'm just not emotionally resilient, I guess. Got out of a 5-month narcissistic relationship. Grandmother died. I lost my life savings, and now I'm in debt after a manic episode, all within the last year. I'm 28 now, still have a good job, slowly rebuilding it all, but it came crashing down. I've been struggling mentally with various torturous disorders for the last 10 years, and I could have done without all this chaos in the past year. But here I am, one day at a time. I feel stuck, hopeless. I feel like all the effort and work I've put in over the last year just to be in the worst place financially. I feel like I've been gutted, one day at a time. Things are slowly getting better. The last decade of my life, as known as my 30s, has been awful. Job losses, inability to focus, chronic pain, and digestive problems. I moved 8 times in 9 years, no support system, and making repetitively bad decisions. Finally, I was diagnosed properly and realized that most of my problems are from something called complicated grief. But now I have nothing to show at the age of 39, and I'm haunted by my past. I feel now I'm going through the toughest time in my life, financially unstable, emotionally drained, and mentally disturbed. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to eat. I'm in a relationship, but I feel eventually he will also leave. Small things hurt me the most. My loved one's behavior has affected me, and I don't know what it's called. I really don't know what to do. I have given more than 30+ interviews for my dream job, but got rejected. I feel like quitting. Now, and the past month, discarded and lied to. left to care for my son on my own. No support around. No driver's license, no job, no relationship. The person I thought loved me said the opposite. His feelings faded months ago. He just now told me that. I'm a single mother with no job or house. I never imagined that I would be here. Well, that's pretty deep. Some of those are a little much, but again, sometimes you have to hear the bad stuff and need to be aware of what other people are going through. Maybe this can help you or help someone you know. Hope these people are getting help and things are getting better for them. But thank you again for listening and watching, and we'll talk to you later.